every time.
Yep.
20% chance of rain.
20% chance and 100% right here.
Yes. Our weatherman sucks.
You know what that means, that 20% is, it's not like there's a 20% chance it might rain, but apparently it's like it's going to rain over 20% of the county or your area.
Something
so
like that.
Apparently we are that 20% area.
And 100% of the time, it rains that 20% of the time.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Over. There is a 20% chance of rain in the county with a 100% chance of rain over the Best Family Homestead and the old bird farm.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Looks great everywhere else, but if you're in the vicinity of these two places, take an umbrella.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, guys, so the rain finally cleared up. Yes, I think it's going to be good the rest of the day. So I think today I'm going to, we're going to continue cutting on all these pine trees and adding to the stack of siding. And even though I know I said I wasn't going to, I might get in there and cut one log out of that pecan because I'm dying to. Yeah. I really want to see what that's going to look like.
Absolutely.
So we're going to finish removing sawdust again, and then at least got to cut one or two pine logs before we do any play sawing. All right, guys, so you can see here's one of the fun parts when you're cutting your own logs. You can see the taper on this big log.
All sorts of different shapes going on with this log.
So on this one, I think we're going to have to just get down level on top, and then we're going to see where we're at as far as.
That's a good angle that you can really see.
And from this side, like, man, I'm going to get so much wood out of this, you know. And then you come to this side and you realize how much smaller it is. So we're just going to kind of have to start getting it squared and see what we got. So I just got my leverage on Robert, because he's always like, Aaron, I'm gonna bring wisteria to your house. I'm gonna plant wisteria. But one of the interesting things about the bird farm, I've seen a lot of black ants, but not fire ants. Well, here a couple miles away, about 8 miles away. Yes, these are swarming fire ants, and they suck. So, first piece of wisteria shows up on the homestead. I dig up a colony of these and put over at the old bird farm.
So fun story about that. I know you're gonna get bit digging them up. So when I was a kid, there was a fire ant nest outside of my mom's house, and I put on some of those yellow dishwashing gloves and dug into it and dug out the queen, and then a bunch of the worker ants, and filled an aquarium up with fire ants. I got made to put it back outside.
Yes.
But Yeah, so, but I was doing it with those yellow gloves, so the ants just crawled up and went inside the gloves.
And, yeah.
Tore me up.
No, don't worry, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't put fire ants on, maybe my worst enemy, but that's about it. Those things are horrible.
I appreciate it, good to know.
But one thing we are going to do is, don't push it, don't push it. No, we're going to find one when some get bigger. Like, I keep them killed here around.
I feel like they're crawling on
this. Yeah, I know. Find one across the street, because we keep them mostly, those are about to get finished in smelt aluminum, and you pour aluminum down the nest, and it cooled, and it's actually I've done it one time.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that video. That will be
cool.
coming up this summer, and it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you will be like one little mound that's, you know, maybe 2 foot tall, which is a little mound. A fire ant nest will go down like 4 foot in the ground.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable how big they are. People don't realize how far down these ant colonies go.
And they like red clay too.
They do, and that's probably why you don't have many of them.
I just thought about that.
Oh,
No red clay, no fire ants. Just
there
lots
we
of
go.
wisteria.
Lots of wisteria. All right, guys, so we got this one squared. Up to start on some weatherboard, and now I'm going to show you guys how quick me and Robert can get this stuff done when there's 2 of us. Because you've seen me cut some by myself in real time, but a whole lot different when you've got 2 people working this thing. We'll go with a little bit different angle, and we'll get after it.
You doing it in real time?
Oh, and just, I know some people will be wondering why we're going back and forth and doing so much adjusting, is because we're cutting again that beveled weatherboard for the siding for the house. So it takes a little bit more work to get those angled pieces to come out. All right, so you can see we got a pretty good stack here out of our angled weather boards, and I'm sure you could hear it when this this saw struggling a little bit through this pine. This pine is down here is almost already fat lighter, and even though it might have been pretty kind of, if you cut it, you could not have sanded or finished this piece of wood. It would, even after it's dried, you try to sand that and it's just going to gum your sandpaper up.
I see that it's got a different bark on it than the other.
Yeah,
one.
I think this is more of a loblolly. It could be a longleaf without the needles on it. So it does look more, it's how thick and knotty that bark was. It did look more like longleaf pine, and loblollies and longleafs are close. But that's what made that pitch is what made a pitch pine. That's what made a longleaf. So yeah, so that's what you can see. We real time about how long it takes to get a stack of wood that big.
Another one down.
Another one down, and a couple more to go. All right, guys, so I got to looking a little bit closer, especially with this wood once I started thinking about it. One, we can't get any more out of this log just because of how gnarly that bottom end is. But if you take a look at the bark, this is a piece of the bark. You see this big fat, so the bark's really thick and that kind of reddish tint. And then over here you can see how scaly that bark is. There definitely is a longleaf pine. And now I didn't cut it. They're not endangered, but they are pretty rare. Not as many as there used to be. It used to be all there was in the South, really, was longleaf pine. But they were so good for building ships out of, and especially their pitch. And you can just feel how tacky this is. And they were so hard, they'd use them and burn the pitch out of them. And it made our ships pretty much indestructible. So what I'm gonna do with this one, since I've got a good big piece of it here, is I'm thinking it will be turned into a pretty bench. What do you think, Robert?
Absolutely. And I gotta say, I was just reading up on longleafs too, and it's longleaf pines have some of the thickest bark out of all of the
you can see how thick, crazy thick the bark is.
Yep. So that's
and cool. It is very pretty. Now this isn't a really old, like when I say really old, it's relative. This tree, actually I'll probably count it here in a minute. This tree is probably not more than 75 or 80 years old, maybe 100, but to put that into perspective, an oak tree that was 100 years old would probably be about double the diameter of this tree.
It's definitely, you can smell
and
it.
It's right hard. There. It's so hard.
But you can see the color change right there, where that's becoming fat lighter.
Yep,
as they say.
It is becoming fat lighter, and you can feel it. It's just so sticky.
It really is, and the smell too.
All right. Well, in case any of you are wondering what longleaf pine looks like, there it is. So we will make a pretty bench out of it.
Too, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you can see the difference in the color of the wood from the previous pine we've been cutting. Yeah, it is a lot different. Cool. All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoy this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned. You're going to be seeing a whole lot more sawmill videos, whether you want to or not, because I've got a lot of wood I've got to cut.